Hello, my name is Harald Palma. I'm a software premium partner, a Softr Expert, and today we'd like to show you a brand new feature of Softr Workflows. I'm here with my friend Rupert from Docs Automator. He's going to explain how to use the new workflows and how to trigger an API call to store and create PDFs and store them in the database. And I'm going to show you a little bit around in Softr. We use some form fields and create PDFs out of that.
Hi everyone, my name is Rupert. I am the founder of Docs Automator, a powerful document automation tool based on Google Docs templates that natively integrates with various tools. Today we'd like to show you how to automate professional looking documents from Softr using Docs Automator. So we're here in Softr Workflows, and every workflow needs a trigger. So in our case, we said we select this database called Blythe, then we have a table called incidents, and then on that table, we have a button called generate PDF. And when that button is set to do it, then this workflow actually runs and will basically initiate all of the actions that come after the trigger step. And the first action then is the call API step, as I mentioned before, where we're triggering Docs Automator's API. And there are a couple of things that have to be set up. It might look complicated, but it's actually relatively straightforward. Most of these things just have to be copy pasted, or a lot of these things just have to be copy pasted. For instance, the method. The method is always post. You have a few options here, but we want to select post in this case. The URL is static. So this is Docs API.docs.co, and then / create document. That's basically
You find all of this in your Docs Automator, right?
Yes. So Docs Automator actually, just let me share the website, and then under resources, you find knowledge base. And then here you find Docs Automator API. And this is basically the entire API documentation where you would also find this.
It's always the same API? Document.
This endpoint for creating documents is always the same. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. That's always the same. There are no URL parameters we want to pass. We just can't remove this here at this point. So we just leave it like this. Then we have to set two headers. The first one is we have to set a content type, and that content type is application JSON, because we're sending JSON, basically an object notation JSON data. So we just add this like that.
You wrote this in there, or you get this with the add?
I actually wrote this myself. Just have to make sure that
application JSON.
And remember that. Type. But yeah. And the second one is authorization. Authorization is basically the way the key value we have to add here, which basically authenticates the request in Docs Automator. So the key is authorization, always like this, and then bearer space, and then your API key. The API key is actually quite a bit longer here. You just paste this in. Where do you get this from? In your Docs Automator account, when you're on your dashboard, you find settings. Under settings, you find API key, and then you can just copy it from here and would go in here, would look like this, and you just paste it. And that's how it works. So that's how you authenticate a request in Docs Automator.
With that it already works, right? So we just don't have any data now to display, but this is already a connection, and we can already reference the database, and we just need to map the fields.
Exactly. So now we're sort of properly authenticated. Now we need to pass some data to the API. As we've seen before, we have the template, and in the template we have placeholders. And those placeholders we then reference again. So
maybe you should show the placeholders real quick, because it's a short version from the long version, and maybe some people just want to see the short version of that.
Makes sense.
And that's the
makes sense. So this is the Google Doc template that we've connected, and then in the template we have these placeholders everywhere. In the template they're given with double curly brackets. If we reference them again, we let these double curly brackets out. We just need them in the document template, basically, to distinguish them from static data around it. But for instance, you see this variable here called reporter name. If I now go back into Softr Workflows and we have opened the request body here, you actually see reporter name here again. And this is the whole thing basically is like, it needs to be given with the data key. It needs to be given with the doc ID. The doc ID is basically the automation ID in Docs Automator. So you would find this here on your automation or in the URL bar. So this is the automation ID to tell Docs Automator, this is the automation I want to generate with. So this is added like that. Document name is your unique document for every generated document. So this comes from a software database field and is always a unique name. And then behind,
which we could create like a name with when we combine some tables, and usually it's like the name, the date, the time, and then the document is already named beautifully.
Exactly.
I always like that you can do this dynamically. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the on this level, you have document ID, document name, doc ID, and then you have data. And behind the data key, you're really passing all that data, basically. And
I could write in whatever I like. So whatever it's in the database, found in the database.
Yeah.
Could be written in there.
It could be some static value. Maybe that's a placeholder you have in the template. I don't know, let's say. And then it could be also something static, right? So it wouldn't have to be mapped always necessarily from the database, but of course, usually we want to automate some data and then it comes terribly from every record. And that's exactly what we see above here on the left side. We always have the placeholder, and on the right side,
if we delete that field, like field email user, and just to show how it's done, can you just that's fine, but just the Softr field from the database. How is this the field user? How maybe this one here?
Should we just do this again?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Like an email. It's actually quite important to get this right. So this always needs to be in double quotes and then double quotes again. And in between, we're putting the value, which you find via this at in here from the record. So we can then search here and we just take this email. And like this, we've added basically, or we have added a reference to the value from software databases in this case. From that record that we are creating for that has triggered this workflow. Let's not forget.
So there's no limit basically. And the beautiful thing that I see right here is that you had an image as well. So the signature comes as an image field, and the image can be transferred into the Google Docs, which is really cool because we could make a catalog with products and create all of this in Google Docs, and then just reference the images that we upload in Softr for like reports and damage reports and all those things.
Just a little gotcha, because when we set this up earlier, I saw that if you're selecting a file field here, you have to make sure that the test record you're testing with already has an image in that file field, because then you're able to select the URL. Otherwise, you can only select the entire field, and then you don't get a reference to that URL. Little Softr Workflows detail right now, but your test record needs to have an image already in there, and then you can select exactly the URL that you need to pass, as you see here.
Cool.
Signature.url. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Also, what's really cool is that this is auto formatted. So if you make a mistake in this, if I forget the comma here, for instance, it would tell me something's not right. A bit cryptic what you see here, but you at least know something's not right.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. So you can
right.
comma again, and then like we knew now what was wrong. But basically, there's a bit of validation in here already, which is really cool. And then the last step is when this is tested, we get the response back, which you see here. The message is success, and then the PDF URL is really what we're interested in. And this PDF URL we can then reference in an update record step, for instance, where we update on the same table again. We'd say select records ID from previous step. We take this from the triggering record, and then we had a file field in our database, and we update that file field with the PDF URL that we got back from Docs Automator, basically. And that's
the record ID is just the ID field that you can select here, right?
Exactly.
Like on the first record ID on the right side. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the loop is closed. And
the loop goes. And since we make now the shorter video, I would just also like to show really quick how that So here we do this with the form field in Softr. So it's quite advanced form fields that have been built in Softr, and they've been mapped on the database. We show the database real quick here. That we call this like incidents. There's nothing really special that we are collecting here. We just have the reported name. We have like the position of the person. We have an automatic when it created, when the incident happened. That's something we collect. Where it happened. We have the report. We have the email. We have here a field for the signature, which is an attachment field. And we have the URL for the signature. That's what Rupert mentioned before. And here we have an AI field, which is also pretty cool. A very new thing in Softr that we can just prompt the whole field and they reference the data, and you can now explain something that you just described with a few words, and then you can just write it out in text, for example, especially for this damage report. Here is where the PDF is stored, and here is our wonderful trigger, do it. So whenever that pressed, then the report is created, the process will be started, and the PDF is stored right here. So in the interface, it looks like that. All those fields are mapped to the database here, and everything is in the steps. The only thing I would like to show here real quick is that the do it step is a hidden field. So this is every time you send this form, the generate PDF do it function will be triggered. So now we could test the form if we should and see how it creates. We should do that real quick. Rupert, what do you think? Here is our date. This also already pre-selected. We gotta have it like 3 o'clock, 3:03, Binigally warehouse. Those few things we selected. Said up options. Bell, witness name is Peter. Peter at example.com. Signature field is right here. Let's assign make a nice signature here. And we submit the form. So if everything is correct, we can go like now. I would actually in Softr recommend in cases like this to implement a quick waiting screen. We didn't build this right now here. So until the PDF is written and everything in the database happens successfully, Rupert also has in his Docs Automator a very good list of like where you can see, okay, documents were successfully created. And but now I think it should be already created. So that would be this one here. I was logged in as Kendall Marian, and here is the PDF. And we share the other one. Here's the PDF. Here's the PDF, and you see the signature field now fits very well. And it's the PDF that is created. I hope we showed you guys some valuable new things for Softr and in combination with Docs Automator. In Softr, I've been using it for a long time, especially in Airtable. Rupert, it's like definitely made for Airtable, but now I was super excited with Softr Workflow, so we could now integrate it. So we decided to make this video together. Perfect. And it works really well. I mean, we've created a couple of 1,000 documents already from my side. You probably more. Few more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Harald. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
and yeah,
really
if there are any questions, feel free to reach out anytime.
Perfect.
I'm reachable, you're reachable. So always happy to help automating documents.
Great.
Thanks, Harald.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.